Do you want to know who you are? Don't ask, act. Action will delineate and define you. On matters of style, swim with the current. On matters of principle, stand like a rock. Honesty is the first chapter of the book Wisdom. I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. The man who reads nothing at all is better educated than the man who reads nothing but newspapers. I sincerely believe that banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies, and that the principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding is but swindling futurity on a large scale. Our civil rights have no dependence on our religious opinions any more than our opinions in physics or geometry. The most valuable of all talents is that of never using to words when one will do. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. We in America do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences attending to much liberty and to those attending to small a degree of it. The legitimate powers of government extend to such acts only as are injurious to others. It does me no injury for my neighbor to say there are 20 gods or no God. It neither picks my pocket nor breaks my leg. History, in general, only informs us what bad government is. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Determined never to be idle, no person will have occasion to complain of the want of time who never loses any. It is wonderful how much may be done if we are always doing. I'm a greater believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. There is nothing more unequal than the equal treatment of unequal people. To compel a man to furnish funds for the propagation of ideas he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. Timid men prefer the calm of despotism to the tempestuous sea of liberty. I was bold in the pursuit of knowledge, never fearing to follow truth and reason to whatever results they led. Do not bite at the bait of pleasure till you know there is no hook beneath it. I had rather be shut up in a very modest cottage with my books, my family, and a few old friends, dining on simple bacon, and letting the world roll on as it liked, and to occupy the most splendid post which any human power can give. Tyranny is defined as that which is legal for the government but illegal for the citizenry. Nothing gives one person so much advantage over another as to remain always cool and unruffled under all circumstances. I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. How little do my countrymen know what precious blessings they are in possession of, and which no other people on earth enjoy. The will of the people is the only legitimate foundation of any government, and to protect its free expression should be our first object. Every day is lost in which we do not learn something useful. Man has no nobler or more valuable possession than time. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government. He who knows nothing is closer to the truth than he whose mind is filled with falsehoods and errors. I hold it that a little rebellion now and then is a good thing and as necessary in the political world as storms in the physical. I am increasingly persuaded that the earth belongs exclusively to the living and that one generation has no more right to bind another to its laws and judgments than one independent nation has the right to command another. Peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations ... entangling alliances with none. I never considered a difference of opinion in politics, in religion, in philosophy, as cause for withdrawing from a friend. If once the people become inattentive to the public affairs, you and I and Congress and assemblies, judges and governors shall all become wolves. It seems to be the law of our general nature, in spite of individual exceptions. It is error alone which needs the support of government. Truth can stand by itself. He who permits himself to tell a lie once finds it much easier to do it the second time. It is more dangerous that even a guilty person should be punished without the forms of law than that he should escape. He who receives an idea from me receives instruction himself without lessening mine, as he who lights his taper at mine receives light without darkening me. Our liberty depends on the freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without being lost. I have no ambition to govern men. It is a painful and thankless office. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppressions of the body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. Those who expect to be both ignorant and free expect what never was and never will be. Every human being must be viewed according to what it is good for not one of us, no, not one, is perfect, and were we to love none who had imperfection, this world would be a desert for our love. An honest man can feel no pleasure in the exercise of power over his fellow citizens. I do not take a single newspaper, nor read one a month, and I feel myself infinitely the happier for it. We are not to expect to be translated from despotism to liberty and a feather-bed. A library book lasts as long as a house for hundreds of years. It is not an article for mere consumption, but fairly of capital, and often in the case of professional men setting out in life, it is their only capital. In questions of power, let no more be heard of confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution.